Competition often gives you the impression you're hustling toward success. It can feel good to watch the numbers tick upward, to beat a rival, or to claim first place in your sector. Yet this competitive spirit can quickly derail genuine fulfillment and sustainable results. When everything revolves around beating the next person or the next company, you risk succumbing to greed, burnout, and the tendency to lose sight of the value you actually provide. Instead of focusing on meaningful solutions, you're fixated on outdoing whatever someone else has created. It's easy to see why competition appeals. In the early stages, it generates excitement. You might make quick profits or rapidly scale up, earning you a flurry of positive attention. To outsiders, that growth can look identical to what a creator-focused company is doing, generating revenue, building brand recognition, launching products. But the deeper motivation is different. A competitor-driven mindset demands you keep tabs on everyone else, ensuring you're always a step ahead, and that's exhausting. If you try to maintain that edge indefinitely, you either run out of resources or become consumed with forging shortcuts to maintain your lead. Worse still, adopting a purely competitive model can create situations where you wind up manufacturing problems just to sell the fix. This problem-reaction-solution loop becomes a destructive cycle. Rather than listening to your audience for real pain points, you risk inventing or hyping issues so that you can market the cure. In some cases, you might not even realize you're fueling this cycle. But once competition dominates your thought process, the line between creating solutions and generating artificial demand can blur. A creative mindset, in contrast, is rooted in asking how to serve people best. It starts with a simple question: what can I offer that genuinely solves a problem or enriches someone's life? Instead of scanning the market 24/7 to see how you measure up, you conduct just enough research to understand the space. Maybe you dedicate 5 to 10% of your effort to see how others are operating, simply to confirm that your mission remains relevant. But the bulk of your energy goes toward refining your approach, making your product, service, or art form truly beneficial for those you aim to serve. When your central drive is to help, you're less likely to be overwhelmed by envy or fear. You can track your success in how well you're meeting people's needs, not by whether you've taken down the competition. This difference is enormous for long-term sustainability. If you're always measuring yourself against other players, you never feel truly at ease. The moment someone else gains a slight advantage, you lose sleep, ignoring how far you've already come. A new rival emerges, and you scramble to outdo them, potentially neglecting your original mission in the process. Over time, customers sense that your focus has drifted from delivering solid value to simply crushing everyone else in the market. That's one reason many large entities or fast-scaling ventures end up pumping out half-baked products or over-promising while under-delivering. They're so eager to remain on top, they forget to cultivate a true connection with their customers. Eventually, if you stay in pure rivalry mode, you become blinded to how your actions affect those you're supposed to be serving. If your value is compromised in the race to dominate, users will feel shortchanged. And if you can't pivot back to serving them effectively, they'll leave for a more genuine provider. Another pitfall: once you've dominated your category, you might relax, thinking your position is secure. But new innovators, those with a creative mindset, keep building in the background. They may not announce themselves with massive campaigns, but they steadily improve and refine. By the time they catch your attention, they've often produced something so valuable that your quick-win approach can't compete long-term. That's how companies that seemed unstoppable at first fade out. Their entire strategy was to outrun others, and once they achieved that, they lost motivation or direction, leaving an opening for a new wave of problem solvers to surpass them with authentic solutions. This isn't just about business or commerce. Overcompetitiveness saturates every corner of life. Take social media. Platforms thrive on stoking envy and comparison. They profit when you constantly measure your worth against someone else. In that environment, people can be so determined to prove they're doing better that they overlook whether they're actually happy with their own progress. This dynamic also extends to politics, where one or both sides try to outdo the other, rather than addressing core community needs. This approach leads to wins that rarely last and neglects the real work of forging durable improvements. Much of this stems from cultural programming. We're taught that competition is the ultimate path to achievement, that you can't succeed unless you beat someone else. Media narratives, marketing campaigns, and even seemingly innocent reality shows echo the same theme. Winners crush losers. When your only measure is, am I beating everyone else? You can't fully celebrate your accomplishments because there's always another competitor on the horizon. Moreover, you miss the opportunity to refine and perfect what you initially set out to do. A creative mindset doesn't deny that the market has multiple players. It acknowledges that people may have similar offerings. Yet it prioritizes building lasting relationships with those who use or benefit from your work. Your primary question isn't, how can I dominate every metric right now? But how can I improve the lives of the people I serve in a way that's sustainable? This perspective fosters trust and loyalty. Customers sense that their experiences matter, not just your scoreboard. Even if you lose a short-term race to a competitor who slashed prices or launched a flashy marketing campaign, you develop a deeper bond that can outlast momentary hype. One reason this creative approach proves more fulfilling is that it reduces the mental grind of constant comparison. You can actually notice the fruits of your labor. If your customers or audience members are genuinely satisfied, you derive a sense of worth that isn't tied to overshadowing someone else. That sense of purpose does more than feed your confidence. It spurs you to reinvest in quality and authenticity, which in turn bolsters the loyalty and support you receive. This positive cycle stands in stark contrast to the problem-reaction solution loop favored by purely competitive mindsets. We also see a long-term advantage. You're more likely to avoid meltdown phases. When an organization becomes hyper-focused on annihilating others, it often fosters a toxic internal culture. Employees or partners feel the pressure to deliver at all costs, sometimes resorting to questionable ethics just to stay ahead. Over time, that environment collapses from stress, scandals, or customer backlash. In creative models, the drive is to consistently refine solutions. Pressure exists, but it's directed at maintaining quality, listening to feedback, and evolving with real demands, not just overshadowing an opponent. It may take longer to see big numbers if you're building for the future, but your success, once achieved, tends to be more stable. You're not scanning daily reports to see if you've dropped from first to second place. You're observing how effectively you're meeting the genuine needs of your users or community. In the end, that loyalty can't be bought by superficial stunts or short-lived marketing hype. When we look at many of the overnight successes that skyrocketed and then fizzled, we often find that they soared on the wings of intense competition alone. Once that adrenaline rush faded, they lacked a sturdy backbone of true solutions. Meanwhile, companies or individuals who took a more measured, creative route eventually surpassed them by offering consistent, high-value experiences. There's a certain irony in how focusing less on outdoing everyone else can lead to stronger, longer-term leadership. People sometimes ask, should I ignore what others are doing entirely? Not at all. You remain aware of your surroundings so you understand whether you're still relevant and to glean insights from other innovations. But after that basic comparative check, you shift your mental energy back toward creation, improving, fine-tuning, or reimagining what you can offer. You stay rooted in the question, how do I solve problems more effectively, rather than how do I look better than them? Ultimately, focusing too much on competition can lead you down a path of chasing illusions. You become susceptible to stoking problems just so you can boast about solving them. The result is a vicious loop that benefits nobody in the long run. In contrast, investing most of your effort in creation fosters meaningful impact, keeps you connected to your audience, and avoids the burnout and corruption that arise from constant rivalry. That's why so many eventually reach the conclusion that creation is inherently more sustainable than competition. It's a perspective shift that not only yields better outcomes, but makes the journey itself more gratifying for you and the people you serve.